Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Microsoft Excel. Agenda for this video is pivot tables. So what is pivot tables? And what is the difference between a normal table and a pivot table? Let's understand that. So this is how a pivot table looks in Microsoft Excel. Okay, pivot table is used to calculate, summarize and analyze data and help the user in comparing patterns and trends in data. So about the normal table, they are the fixed table. If you create it once, you will not be able to make any change. You have to create another sheet itself. But pivot table are flexible tables which give you entire data into a summarized form, and it will give you the subtotals of each record you say. Each data is calculated. If you click on any button, you will be redirected to the sheet, and you will have a gist of from where the data is coming and everything, which is not possible in normal table, which is possible in pivot table. So let's get started. What is pivot table? It is a tool to calculate, summarize and analyze data and help the user in comparing patterns and trends in data. So it helps in calculate. How to calculate? We'll understand. It helps in summarizing. So you have a huge data set. If you want to summarize the data, pivot table is of great use, and it helps us in analyzing the data, because what do you do with the data? You have to use it in analysis purposes. So it is used for analysis data. Help the user in comparing patterns and trends in data. Now, how to insert pivot table. So let's get started with the Excel, and we'll get back to PPT after that. Okay? So this is the sheet. We are working on the same sheet. So what will we do is we select the data, we go to insert tab, or we don't select the data. We click on anywhere in the data. We go on the insert tab, we go on the pivot chart, we click on pivot chart. Okay, can you see whole data is selected, and you can see it's like a dancing thing happening. So the whole data is selected from A1 to A50, correct? You can see here select a table or range. Now where you want the pivot table to be placed, new workbook or the existing workbook? Let's click in new worksheet. Okay, and I click on OK, and this is the chart. Now, so these are the pivot chart fields. These are all the headings of a column. Okay, we can drag fields between filters, legend, axis and values. Let's try. So we'll put segment here, we'll drag it here, or we drag it into axis. Okay, we put the discount in values, COGS in values, and profit in values. If we remove gross sales, okay, put gross sales here. Okay, so can you see both the things are created, the table also and the chart also. From the table and chart, both you can understand how the pivot table works and how you need to go forward. So let's see. These are the segments: channel partners, enterprise, government, mid-market, small business. And the total of COGS is done. So in your data, channel partner was given like 5 times. Already the total has been done. enterprise 3 times, the total has been done. So these, the total has been done and the grand total is also done as well. Okay, can you see what I just did? I'll just show it to you once again. So these are the channel partners. Now you need to know from where this amount came. Okay, so when we click on it, you can see, channel partners, it is like 5, Canada, Mexico, because we filtered it out on the basis of segment and we did not filter it out on the basis of country. Okay, and you can see the whole set of data it's coming. Okay, if you want to check, otherwise it's pretty clear and pretty obvious if you can see here. And if you want to edit something, just click on the chart. Okay, just a second. Okay, okay, yeah. So when you click on the chart, okay, my tab is here. Okay, and I want to make some changes in my pivot table, so I'll just select it. So there is analyze, design, and format. 3 tabs are coming. So these are the pivot chart tools. Pivot chart tools. Like we did it in normal charts, these are for pivot charts specifically. We can make as many changes as we want, as many filter as we want. You remember we did chart elements also in that. Axis title, chart title, data labels, data table, error bars, grid lines, legend, trend line. Everything is there in the chart elements. Okay, we can change the style, we can change the color. Can you see the changes are being made? Okay, okay, so this is about pivot chart. How we did, we went to insert, we clicked on pivot chart. You can see a new workbook will be coming. Okay, this is, the data will be selected and you have to tell the Excel where you want to place it. You want to place this in the existing location, then you have to give the yes, give it as wherever you want to paste and click on OK. I am not doing it right now. I've already created it here. Correct? Okay, now I want to make a lot of changes. So let's see how. Okay. Suppose, okay, we want to remove, we want to change the data source, for example. So these are the data source. We just want segment till gross sales and we click on OK. It is only from segment to gross lanes. We see, to be very frank, there are so many functions. We need to click on each and every function and we have to check what that function does. Because if I tell you right now, if you don't practice it side by side, you will not be able to do it. So let's understand the basic and then we'll get into the details of analyze, design and everything. Okay, and formatting part, correct? We'll get into that later on. First understand what pivot table is all about. So you understood the difference between a normal table and a pivot table. Normal table, so normal table are fixed tables and pivot tables are flexible tables which give you the entire data, whereas entire data in a summarized form which will give you the subtotals and each record of you in a better fashion than a normal table. Because in this you don't have to, make multiple tables or anything. You don't have to filter it again and again. You can just do it once and you can just click of a button, you will be able to understand from where this amount came, from where that amount came, from where the COGS came, how many were there in the segments, how many were there in the country. Suppose if you want to filter it out only with the France, we can do it via country, and we can check only for the France. And for the France, we can check how much was the COGS, discount, profit, gross sales, everything we can check with one country with the help of pivot table. Okay, so this was about pivot table. There are a lot of things to understand. We'll understand it into the next video. Thank you. Hello everyone. In the last session we understand what is pivot table, how to create a pivot table, how to enter or remove the sheet, enter the remove the columns we don't need it, and we can customize as the way we want it. And we understood the difference between a normal table and a pivot table. Normal table is not flexible, pivot table is flexible, and we can analyze, calculate, and summarize the data, which help in comparing the pattern and trends in the data. Okay, inserting the pivot table, how we did that? We went to the insert tab, clicked on pivot table, pivot chart, and we selected the range, and if where we want to place it, we did new worksheet or existing worksheet, and we clicked on OK, and the pivot table will automatically come. Okay, now we in this session we'll understand what is filtering pivot table. Pivot table is good function for creating in-depth summarizes for large data sets. There are several methods of filtering data in pivot table. Inserting one or more slicer is the quickest way to filter data in pivot table. Slicers have button that filters the data and stays visible within the data. We'll understand. Let's just go through it once. Let's just read it, and then we'll go through each and every point whichever is given, and we'll understand all the points in the particular part. Using auto filter to apply filters in any field of pivot table row field. These filters can work along with slicer to create a high level filter. Okay. Add filter to the pivot table filter you field. User can create individual pivot table worksheet for each item in filter field. Okay, we can create individual pivot tables. We can slice our big pivot table into small pivot tables, individual pivot tables, which help us in analyzing the data individually if we want to do it in that sense. See, every department, every company has a different set of data, and they have different set of analysis that they have to do. For the same set of data also, there is different analysis in different departments. So we need to understand every function so that if there is anything we can apply throughout. Okay, so let's understand. Okay, so this is the table. We'll go to insert tab, pivot chart, pivot chart. We'll take it to the new, and we can just pivot table so that there's no confusion about it. Okay, so when I click on the chart, pivot chart fields will come. So we'll filter it via country. Okay, we'll put it in access category. We'll put the segment also. We'll put the product, discount band, and we want sales and the gross sales. We don't need the discount bond, and we need the gross sales. Okay, so can you see how the data is divided? Okay, this is become a little huge. Let's keep it little simple and just remove a lot of things so that there is no confusion left. Okay, First, I'll show it to you how it looks. Okay, so we have segmented as country wise: Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, USA. Correct? And in Canada, there were five segments. Similarly, segments. Okay, we have taken the row as product. So these are the product, and the data is bifurcated in that way, and the chart is also being created. Okay, so let's understand how to filter the chart. Okay, so when you click on it, analyze, design, and format button will automatically will come. So when we click on analyze, okay, we can make the chart name 1. Instead of, we write it as practice. Okay, and we can just click on options, and we can change it: total, filters, display, printing, dataset, which is not that important. Okay, we can insert slicer as we just discussed in analyze tab. Okay, how that comes? So we have just put the cursor anywhere at a particular moment. When we put the cursor on the chart, three tabs come: analyze, design, and format. So when you go on the analyze tab, there is a button called insert slicer in the filter option. We'll click on that, and we'll select segment, and we click on OK. So this is the slicer. Are you getting it? Small business, mid market, government, enterprises, and channel partner. Okay, so these are the slicer. We can just with a click of button we can able to check everything. Enterprise, everything with enterprise will come. Sum of sales, sum of gross sales. So these are the slicers. We can just delete it also if you want to. Okay, how we went to, when we select the chart, analyze, and insert slicer, you can add as many slicer as you want, which help us in analyzing with the help of segment or with the help of countries, as we choose, as which how we want to segment our how we want to make our chart look better, and from which we can understand the chart. Instead of keeping so many charts also, it becomes difficult for someone to analyze, because there are so many charts, people can get confused also. And if there is a slicer, we can insert and we can remove. Okay, segment, country, we can just remove, and we can click on OK. Okay, insert timeline. Okay, okay, now we'll refresh it. We can change the data source like we discussed. We can change it, we can keep it till manufacturing price, units sold, we can keep it this much data, and we can click on OK. Okay, so this was filter connection, change data source. So what we have understood is insert slicer, filter connection, refresh, change data source. Okay, we move the chart from new sheet to another sheet. We can just shift it as where as we want to. Okay, okay, so let's go to design. We can just change the layout of our chart. Okay, we can change the style of our chart. We can select the data. Okay, we can switch row column, which we have done already. We have understood everything. We can change the chart type, we can move the chart, we can fill it, border, text option, text fill, text online, outline, sorry. So these can be done. Formatting, format selection, reset to match style, we can change it to color as we want to. We can, increase or decrease the height and the width. Okay, and when we click on anything, every analysis is done in another sheet. Summarize with pivot table. So this is the summarization which is done from the pivot table itself. Suppose you don't have to put a lot of data. Suppose we can just put the segment and the sales, segment, sales, segment, sales. Now we want to know each segment, what is the bifurcation individually. We can just click on the sale and profit, whatever we want to take, and then we can bifurcate as much as we want. And we can check from where that amount come, and we can make our own analysis, and we can make our own chart via slicer, which become easier, which is not time consuming, and it's easy to understand. Otherwise it becomes difficult to understand, so it is easy to understand. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to another session of pivot table. We understood already what pivot table is in Microsoft Excel. It helps in summarizing, analyzing, and calculating, and it helps the user in comparing the pattern and trends in data. We can insert the pivot table by going into the insert tab and clicking on the pivot table, and we'll be able to insert it. And this dialog box will appear when we click on insert pivot table. We can select the range, we can reduce the range. Okay, and we can select the range as much as we want, and we can paste it. We want the pivot table to be placed in existing worksheet on the new worksheet, and we click on OK, and automatically the pivot table will be ready. We just need to understand which data we need to put where, filter, value, where we want to put it. Okay, it helps in creating in-depth summaries for large data sets. See, when we have a huge data set, 5,000, 6,000 sheet, 6,000 number of data, we can't just go through each and everything and go via table also. And then we have to do a lot of things manually, which is easier to do on pivot table. Okay, we can do it with slicer as we discussed. We can just create slicer over each column. We can create, and with that we can create individual slicer chart, which will help us in understanding for particular segment or the particular country, depending on which we are creating the slicers. We can create the slicers, and when we click on the slicer, suppose if we are creating for a country, and if we click on the data, we will be redirected from where the thing has been taken, and a whole the summary of that particular country or particular segment will be given in that particular moment when you click it. Okay, so there is a filter applied always. If you if 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 you want to select the data, you can filter it out, you can put it in values, you can put it anywhere you want. There are four things that that we already discussed. You can put it there. Okay, this we have already discussed. Refresh we have already discussed. Changing source we have already discussed. We can change the source, we can change it multiple times. Suppose we have selected only till discount, now we want till profit, so we can select it as that. See, if you make any changes, pivot table will not be automatically changed. You have to click on the refresh button, otherwise it will not automatically update and you will not be able to understand sometimes. So refresh button is very 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 important. Okay, we have already understood how to make a table as well as the chart, how to make the changes, how to edit the chart. Everything we have understood. Okay, pivot chart can be used to add visualization to a pivot table. user need to select a cell from the pivot table, and then with the help of pivot table, tools can add pivot chart. Okay, so activity for the particular topic, which is pivot table, is that practice with the data that is given to you. You have to work on the assignments which is given to you, so that it's absolutely clear and you don't have to continuously mug up, and you will be sorted. Okay, so open MX Excel on your respective document desktop, or open www.office.com. Add the data to the spreadsheet. The data set is given in the PDF, and create a pivot table. Once you create, send us the screenshots. Let us know if you have any doubt. Okay. For more information, go to support.microsoft.com. And if you have any query and if you want to learn more in detail, you can go to the website of Microsoft, and you can go to Microsoft Learn, and you will be able to understand and you will be able to gain in-depth knowledge for Microsoft Excel. Thank you.
Today, our agenda for this video is learning formatting lists as table. See, you can format it without making it into a table, but that will lead to a lot of issues. We can just have a quick look at that. But how to do formatting lists as tables? This is a very good function. By this, you can sort, filter, anything, any function you can use. It becomes good, easy, and there's no chance of any mistakes. So let's get started. Formatting list as table. Formatting list as table is one of the features in Microsoft Excel. It is easy to set up formatted tables. Functions like sort, filter become easy to apply. The fields of table can be referred in the formula. If data is added or removed, the formula will adjust accordingly. See, if you will not make it into a table, it will not adjust accordingly. The formula. How will Excel understand? But when we create it into a table, Excel automatically understand. If you have made any changes, it will automatically fix itself. Okay, let's get started. Let's do it into an Excel. Okay, so this is our data. Okay, just click anywhere in the data and click here. Okay, go to Home tab, go to Format as Table. It is into the Style ribbon, Format as Table. Choose anything you want. Suppose if we choose gray. Okay, it will ask if you want to select the whole table or you want to select half table. We have selected the whole table. Okay, my table has headers. So these are the headers: segment, country, product. These are the headers. My table has headers. Okay, and when we click on OK, see. So what all changes happened? First of all, filter. You can sort. You can filter. You can sort by color, you can filter by equal, does not. There are a lot of functions. If you just want channel partners, just select all channel partners. Okay. Only channel partners will come. Okay. And it becomes really easy to do it. Okay. If you make any changes, it will adjust accordingly. So this is the easiest function that you can work on. Okay. So these in this three things happened. Let's understand three things thoroughly so that there is no confusion in the future. Okay. This table, first function is this is our header in row 1, segment, country, product. Okay. In this, the filter has applied. Here, when we click on this button, can you see, guys? When we click on this, you can sort by A to Z. The sheet has sorted. C, C, E, D, M. Okay. You can sort by Z to A as well. Okay. You can sort by color. Custom sort. Segment, values, Z to A. Okay. You can add levels. Then by product, cell color maybe. and select on top or bottom. Select it and it will happen. Okay, we'll just undo that. We'll just undo all the things. When we go on this button again, okay, you can filter it, you can custom filter it, you can just filter this accordingly. What you can do is equals. In segment, I think this filter will be useful here. Okay, just go to number filters, equals, 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 or is greater than 50,000. Okay, only the sales which are above 50,000 will be coming, rest all will be hidden as you have applied the filter. So this becomes very easy when you have large data set and you don't know how to work on it. Your manager just want to check, you know, just remove the filter, clear filter. Okay. Your manager wants to check how much is the gross sales, how much is the gross sales above 50,000, who has done it, which country has done it, which segment is performing well. Everything is done by sort filter, everything, and it becomes very easy with very important function. So that, when we're working on a large data set, you have to make an analysis also. You just can't just type in. This is not a data entry thing. You have just entered the data. Now you have to perform your own analysis on the data, right? So for that, these functions become important, which we have learned. Number filter, sort by color, selecting. Suppose select all, we have deselected everything, and we just want to know more than 120. See, manufacturing price, which was more than 120, has came. Okay. And if we select 120, 250, and 260, so all the things, all the manufacturing price will come here. Okay. And one more thing happened. So you can change the color also. We have chosen this color. It depends. Okay. How you want to go forward. Suppose if this is manufacturing price. Okay. So it will automatically be one color, one white, one color, one white, one color, one white. So if we will not use this format as table, and if we filter it out, and if we have put colors, manually you have to enter this color. You will select second, then you will select fourth, you will select six, you will select eight, and then you will manually change the color. But when you filter it out, that will not happen then. You'll filter it out. It will happen only in the sheet, only in the part that has color will come, and rest your sheet will look very bad. It doesn't look good when you show it in, if you present it to your manager or something, it will not work. Okay. So what we did was formatting. So heading should be added in data column, which is this segment, country. This is important because from this you have to sort and filter. If this is not there, how will you do it? It becomes difficult, and which doesn't look good also, because you should know, because this is not one column or one row. There are multiple rows. How will you know that what is 8235, what is 412 if you don't have the headers, right? Okay. So this is it. Let's go through it once again. We'll just format it in maybe this color. So where we went, home tab, format as table, and we changed it. Okay. We can change the table style also. But that is, I don't think we should get into that right now. We just format it. This is easier. And this is a very useful function, very useful and a very good function. If you want to learn more about this, You can go to support.microsoft.com, support.microsoft.com, and you can learn more about it in detail. And if you have time to attend the Excel course that is happening on Microsoft Learn, you can go to the website as well and learn more about Excel, as Excel is a wonderful tool. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Welcome to another session of Microsoft Excel. Today we learn about data validation. What is data validation? It is applied to restrict certain type of data or values to enter a cell. The type of data validation are whole number, decimal, list, time, text length, custom. So let's learn about each and everything. So let's start with list, which means pick data from the drop down list. As you have seen in a lot of sheets you have worked on, you have seen there is a drop down menu that is there. So let's see how we can create it. So let's go to Excel. I have written something bold, italic, underline, font color. I will put all border. Okay, no border. It's just something I have written. Okay, now I have to make a drop down list for these names. Okay, so I'll click anywhere where I want to create the drop down list. I'll go to data tab, I'll go to data validation, I'll click on data validation. So where we went, how to do it, we'll press the icon where we want the drop down list to be there. We'll go to data tab, we'll go to data validation, we'll click on data validation. So this window will come. In settings, you click on list, okay, and you have to tell the source from where you have to take the data so that the drop down list will come from there. And my source is from R4 to R10, and I click on OK. Now the drop down list is created. Can you see? Yeah, it's bold, it's italic, it's underlined, it's font color. Okay, you can keep it and as many names you want for the drop down list. Okay, this is about the drop down list. Okay, let's understand the other function. Select the data you want to work on. Click on data, data validation. Click on whole number. You can, so when you, we'll start from whole number actually. Yeah, we'll click on whole number. We can keep it between, not between, equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So we'll click on between. Okay. We can write the maximum value, minimum value as 10 or maximum value as 100. Okay. And we'll click on OK. See, nothing happened right now. Now I will show you what we can do. Now, what function that we put in, that my data should be between 10 and 100. But there are more than 10 and more than 100 and less than 10. As you can see, the 3, 5. Now we want to circle that out. So we'll go to data validation. We'll circle the invalid data. Okay. See, the invalid data is being here. Can you see? 10 is not there. Okay. More than 100 is coming. Okay. If we want to remove, we can just clear the validation circle and it's done. So this was for the whole number. Okay. Similarly, there are a lot of other functions also we can use. We can use the decimal, that if you want, we can use only two point decimal. We can change the date, time, text length, or we can custom. Okay. We just want 100. Okay. If there is any 100, that will come. So this is how it is done. This is a very important function and very easy to use it. So whole number I just showed it to you. Restrict cells to accept only whole numbers. Restrict cells to accept only decimal numbers. List we just did. Pick data from the drop down list. Time. Restrict cells to accept only time. Test the text length. Restrict the length of the text. Custom. Custom formula. You can make your own formula. Okay. I will show you all so that it's absolutely clear and there's no doubt in the future about it. We'll go on text length, or I'll show it to you text length on product. Go to text length, data validation, text length, between maximum 3 to maximum 5 maybe, or we can keep it at 3 only. Let's keep it at 6 and we click on OK. Data validation, circle invalid data, and the invalid data will be circle around. See, can you see? 3 to 5. So this is more than 5. This is 3. This is 5. This is more than 5. So sorry, this was 6, 7, and we have selected from 3 to 7. Why data validation is coming here? Because we have not removed the data validation. We can go to data validation. The selection contains more than one type of validation. Erase current settings and continue. Okay. So we can just clear all and we can click on OK. So there's no data validation for this particular cell because we wanted only data validation for this particular cell. I think this is absolutely clear. Data validation, clear all. Okay. There's no data validation now. Now let's learn new things. Okay. This was the setting tabs we were working on. There's input message. There's an error alert. Okay. Suppose this is the blank part. Okay. We want data validation here. Okay. Suppose we have to give the sheet to someone else. So how we go forward about it? We'll go to data validation. We'll click on data validation. We'll go to settings. We'll click on whole number. So between 1 and 5. And we'll click on input message. And the data is on input message. Hello. Let's do it. Let's keep it simple first. Error alert. Stop. Okay. So if it is 1, nothing will happen. It is 5, nothing will happen. When we press 8, you will get an error message. The value I entered is invalid. Why? Because we have given the data validation from 1 to 5. If we go beyond 5, you will receive an error. Why this is so useful? Suppose you have created the sheet. Okay. You have created the whole sheet. Okay. Now you want to give this sheet to someone else. What we can do is we can data validation. We can use the system what we want to keep it. We don't want to move forward from 5 maybe. We can select that. Okay. And if we select more than 5, there will be an error message will be coming. Okay. So this was a very important function. We can just give the warning. We can give the information. Information. We can just stop it, and we can write the error message. What the error is actually. We can input the message, and we can clear all. And we can click on OK. Now we can enter anything you want. Otherwise, you will not be able to enter. This is so amazing, so that nobody enters anything by mistake. Suppose people by mistake they want to write it 5 and they by mistakenly written 50. Okay, mistakes happen. So then data validation will show an error. Okay, error will be shown. So that you check what mistake have you done. So that There's no mistake in the data, because any which ways you can't just you have to enter the data manually, and in manual, when you enter data manually, you make mistakes. So for avoiding and for reducing the mistake significantly, we click on data validation. We give the command we want to give, all the commands we can give as we want to, and if it is not acceptable, it will show you an error and it will not move forward. Let's keep it again. I will show you to you whole number between 1 to 15 maybe. Okay. What error meta if message it was showing, because we have not data validated. Correct. To select this data validation, data validation, whole number between 1 to 10. Okay. Value entered is invalid. The user has restricted values that can be entered into the cell. If we press on retry, nothing will happen. You have to cancel it. Okay. So this was about data validation. There are a lot more things to learn. We'll understand into the next session. Thank you.